Next up, we have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are pronouns used to form questions. Interrogative, the grammatical term, just means forming, constituting, used in, or to form a question. So anything having to do with a question, we call that interrogative. We use the term interrogative. English has 9 different interrogative pronouns. And those are who, whom, whose, which, what, whoever, whomever, whichever, and whatever. The antecedent of an interrogative pronoun is simply the answer to the question. In this sentence, who stole my car? The interrogative pronoun who is referring to the antecedent of whichever person it is that stole the car. In this sentence, I want to know what you were up to. The antecedent of what is whatever thing that is that you are up to. It's the answer to the question, basically. All interrogative pronouns have the same form, whether being used singular or plural. For instance, here, what is his name? That's singular because it's referring to his name, the singular name. Or I could say, what are their names? Now, what is referring to names, or whatever names that answer the question. So it would be plural. Interrogative pronouns can be substantives or attributives. There are some which can be substantives only. Those are who, whom, whoever, and whomever. Those will only ever act as substantives. There is one which can be only an attributive, and that's whose. You can't use whose as a substantive ever. And finally, there are the rest can be either, depending on how it's used in a sentence. They can be substantives or attributives, and that's which, what, whichever, and whatever. For example, who is your favorite player? That's acting as a substantive there because the antecedent is a person. It would stand alone as whoever this person turns out to be. In another sentence, whichever you choose will be fine with me. Whichever here is acting as another substantive because it stands alone as whichever this thing is. Whichever you choose. The answer to our question is going to be the antecedent, whichever this thing is. Similarly, I could say, I will purchase whichever phone you recommend. Here, though, whichever is functioning as an attributive because it's actually specifying which phone is being referred to. It's not functioning as stuff in this sentence. It's helping identify phone. Interrogative pronouns are used to create direct or indirect questions. A direct question is an actual question ending in a question mark. It's the first thing we think of when we hear the word question. An indirect question is simply a question embedded inside a non-interrogative statement. Which fraction is greater? Question mark. That's a direct question. I figured out which fraction is greater. That's an indirect question because you see it's buried inside of a declarative statement. Finally, not all question-starting words are interrogative pronouns. How, when, where, and why, those are all adverbs, so be careful not to confuse these with interrogative pronouns. With that, go ahead and complete some exercises that help you learn to identify interrogative pronouns and learn about their functions.